Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our live lesson today. We have Vlad Petrescu with us from Envorso, and he is going to be instructing on using Jira and JSM to set up a service-based team. I'm going to let him introduce himself in a moment. Just want to mention up top, we are on Zoom, so the chat will be open, interactive. We would love to hear from you today, especially because Vlad's going to make sure that this session goes the way it will be most useful to everyone. So find the chat, maybe say hello and let us know where you're, excuse me, let us know where you're coming from today. And we'll definitely be asking some questions and hoping for feedback from you in a moment here. So we are recording. This replay will be posted on NPUG under training and lessons within the next 24 hours, so you can revisit it as many times as you like. I will share the PDU claim code at the end after our Q&A session at the end as well for you to get your credit. And if we have extra time and you want to stick around, I will also show you into the forum, the community discussion forum. But we'll talk about it at the end. And right now, I just want to go ahead and stop my screen share and pass it on over to Vlad.
Thanks, Morgan. Hi,
You're
everybody.
welcome.
Happy December. Thank you for joining. We're so close to the holidays that I didn't think anybody would join. So I wanna reach out to you and say thank you very much for wanting to learn, wanting to know more about Jira, JSM, and service-based teams. Before we start, I want you to get the most out of this meeting, out of this session, and also out of other Jira presentations that I'm hosting or my colleagues are hosting. So let me know down the chat, what would you prefer? A more technical presentation, a more demos, more process related? Let me know what would make these kinds of presentations fit your use case and help you and keep you interested. Send a message in the chat. I'll read it and I'll apply whatever your feedback is in this presentation and other presentations. Okay, let's get started. Today we're going to talk about using Jira and JSM to set up a service-based team. Agenda. We're going to talk about service-based teams. We're going to get into discussions, a brief introduction to Jira, then Jira Service Management. You see Jira in you see Jira in row number 2 and row number 3. So there's Jira and Jira Service Management. It's not a typo. They're two different things. We're gonna learn about them today. I'm gonna show you a brief demo, what you can get out of Jira Service Management and how easy it is to set up. And we're also gonna be, I'll also be sharing a few best practices. On my presentation today, I'm gonna use a very thematic subject, Santa Claus and digital transformation. We're going to help Santa Claus build a service-based team. Okay. Who am I? My name is Vlad. I'm working at Envorso. And this qualifies me to tell you about Jira Service Management. I'm certified Atlassian consultant. I've been working in the Atlassian space for 10 to 15 years, if I remember correctly. I've worked with teams that are large, teams that are small. I think the largest team or the largest client I've worked with had around 50,000 Jira users. That is large, that is huge. I've learned how to solve problems, in different ways, and how not to solve problems. And that's an understatement. The number of bad practices I've seen is mind-boggling. Useful links. If you need any help at Envorso, we have 3 service offerings. We offer a free 60-minute session with me or one of our solution engineers. We offer a 5 days assessment of the existing Atlassian setup. And we can also build a proof of concept with you in 2 weeks. So let us know if you are interested in some of this. You can contact me on my Envorso email on the public website. And we're gonna We're going to briefly go there because we are using Jira Service Management to track our engagements. We have 3 engagements here, our 3 offerings, and we track them with the help of Jira and Jira Service Management. I've also posted through useful links how you can try Jira for free. Jira is free in its cloud offering for up to 10 users. So if you wanna see, if you wanna get used to the interface, if you wanna see what you're reading, if you wanna play with it, also if you wanna use it at your current job, you can use it for up to 10 users for free. No apps, no add-ons, just the basic functionality, but that should be good enough. Okay, service-based teams. Somebody told me, I think it was last month, that all the jobs in the world exist because someone needs something. That's it. On a smaller scale, this applies to Jira. All Jira projects exist because someone needs something. They need something from you, and they need something from your team. There's multiple types of need. There's the long-term projects, which are a bit rigid, which are well-structured, and they are best suited for a waterfall methodology, where all of the steps are sequential, everything is done in order, you plan, you develop, you test, you deliver. The second type of need is usually used for software development, where we respond quickly to clients' needs. In most cases, we use agile methodology and we use Scrum. And the third type of need is the service request. It's the type of request. I'm just going to give some examples. The categories are here some categories are here on the screen. I need a new account. I need permission to access email. I need permissions to this tool, to that tool. I need a laptop replacement. I need to onboard an employee. I need to file a complaint, or I have a problem with a product that I bought. These are all service requests, which are serviced by service-based teams. The service teams are created around services or support functions within an organization. Lately, instead of using siloed teams, the focus shifts to delivering outcomes based on the service they provide to internal and external customers. There are some core concepts which I've seen adapted and explored more and more. If you'd like to have independent teams and you'd like to focus on the user experience, your service requests are targeting clients usually, or other departments, other teams in your company. So a user experience is very important. I'm going to show you how we at Enforso use Jira Service Management to track our needs. This is the public website. I'm not logged in as anything. And we have the 3 buttons at the bottom, service offerings. I'm going to click on one. This leads me to the Atlassian website where I've created a form. I'm going to talk about forms a bit later, but this is the interface where you could create a request. In my case, I'm asking clients if they'd like a 60-minute session with experts to provide some information beforehand, like name, company, what's the topic of the conversation, what's the list of Atlassian products that they have or they relate to the question. In this case, we have a multiple list. We have the hosting types. Those are details that allow us to offer a smoother 60-minute session with the experience where they get the most out of it. This is all created with Jira, and we're gonna create one together. We're gonna create at the second half of our presentation today, form like this. I want you to remember that these kinds of requests are created by clients, by customers, and maybe not all of them have a Jira account. Is that a problem? That is not a problem. In this case, I'm logged in with my Inverso account, but I don't need an account to create a request. And that's very important because in case you require, you have a form for somebody to create a Jira account, well, they don't have a Jira account, which is the Atlassian product that I'm showing you right now. So they cannot have an account to create a request to get an account. Therefore, we can enable them to go here, create this request before getting a Jira, an Atlassian account. Because an Atlassian account costs money, and we're going to talk about the licensing model a bit later. Okay, back to the presentation. Let's talk about Jira. And I think somebody posted in the chat that they'd like a brief presentation, an overview of Jira. I'm going to try. We had a presentation, I think, a few months ago, but it's always good to have a refresh on what is Jira and why is everybody talking about it. Jira started somewhere in the 2000s, so it's maybe 20 years old. It started as a tool for software development. It started as a bug tracker. It was very niched. Nobody knew about it except software developers. Over time, it expanded. It expanded to become a project management tool. That was the next step. And the last step is to become a workflow management tool. You can manage with Jira any process, almost any process or workflow that you can think of. HR onboarding, project management. I've seen large companies and I've worked with large companies that use Jira for inventory tracking. It doesn't have anything to do with project management. However, there's a process. Inventory parts go from step to step, and that is a process, that is a workflow, and Jira is optimized for these kinds of items. Competitors, who are Jira's competitors? We have Trello, Monday.com, ServiceNow, Excel, because I've seen many teams use Excel to manage their work. I don't think that's the most optimal, but it is what it is. So I'm also mentioning here Excel. I've seen, I think this week, a team that uses Teams, Microsoft Teams, or they built a form. They built a very basic Kanban form to manage their work. It works. It's not optimal, it's not scalable, but it works. Atlassian became one of the largest companies. I think it's S&P 500 right now, and they've specialized in these kinds of tools. They started with Jira, which is, let's say, project management. They've expanded to Confluence, which is a knowledge-based tool, and other products for Agile at Scale, for example, for software development, and many others. Recently, they've gone into AI, and all of the products that Atlassian creates are filled with AI capabilities more and more. And we're going to try to use one today. I haven't tested it before, so hope it works. Atlassian's business model. Atlassian products are paid by number of users. So if you have 10 users, that's free. If you go from 10 to 15 or 10 to 20, each has an additional cost. 20 to 50, the cost per person changes, and so on and so forth, up to 50,000 or 100,000. I don't remember the maximum right now. However, they want to keep costs as low as they can, and that's why they keep functionality reduced to the minimum. Basic Jira functionality is not very complex, I would say. It's not the jack of all trades. It's not a tool that does everything by default. Because, well, many people, many clients don't need all of the functionalities. You'd just be paying for functionality that you don't need. You get to pick extra functionalities, and that happens in two ways. The marketplace, where you can install an app or a plugin, how it's called. I think there are more than a few thousand apps available that you can purchase, that you can configure, that you can install on top of your Jira product. And the second way you can add functionality is using an app that Atlassian created. And the first apps plugins were created by third-party vendors, Atlassian partners, but also Atlassian creates these kinds of applications, functionalities, paid functionality. And one of these tools is Jira Service Management, JSM. Jira Service Management, it was previously known as Jira Service Desk. You might find documentation or information online that says JSD, Jira Service Desk. That is the previous name of Jira Service Management. I think it was rebranded maybe 10 years ago, but some people are still used to the old name. It cannot exist like any Jira plugin without a Jira subscription. So first you would need to configure by setup Jira. And then on top of Jira, you would need the Jira Service Management subscription. Jira Service Management has two types of, I'm not sure if it's just me, but the slides are not moving from the intro slide. I do apologize. I'm looking at the introduction to JSM slide. Is that the one that you see right now? My plan is to not have many slides, but just show a few and then get into the presentation, get into the tool so you can get a flavor of how it is used. Okay. Thank you, Farouk. Okay. Agents and customers. What are agents? What are customers? I've said previously that Jira is, the pricing model is per user, person that has an account and uses Jira. However, in Jira Service Management, the pricing is done per agent and per customer. Who are customers? Customers are the people that submit requests to the service desk or service portal. They're the ones that are looking for help or solution to their problem. They're the reason why service management exists. It's people that want something. As I said before, they can have a Jira account, but that is not mandatory. And no matter how many customers you have, how many people request Jira Service Management tools, the price doesn't change. It's the price is the same. So actually, no, the price is free, irrespective of the number of customers. What costs are the agents, which are the superheroes behind the scene who address customer requests. They solve problems, they keep everyone in the loop, they communicate, and they make everything work. They make people happy by addressing their tickets. Now, why would I need to use Jira Service Management? Why can't I just send an email to a person that I know can help because they've done it before? Well, for a number of reasons. People are on holiday. You don't know everybody's schedule. People are in different time zones. People are overloaded. Maybe they've moved jobs. Maybe they've been promoted or they moved to another department, another team. And also, they also want to track their work. They want to show that, okay, I've addressed 100 tickets this week. However, people requested 200 created 200 requests. So I'm swamped. I need more help. Also, using a tool like Jira Service Management is scalable. No matter how many requests you have, no matter how many agents you have or customers you have, it can easily scale. And you can have all of the out-of-the-box functionality to help you do that. Channels and portals. What are channels in Jira Service Management? They're, well, simply put, different ways that customer can interact with the service team and submit requests. Multiple channels out of the box. You don't need to do anything. Email. Jira Service Management has the possibility of receiving or creating a ticket by just simply sending an email. It's not the most complex way, but it's an opportunity. It's an option. Each service desk, each service project has its own email address, and that is created by
Hey,
default
Vlad,
by.
I'm gonna interrupt you for a second. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing in the chat that some people are having trouble seeing your slides when it's not in presentation mode.
Okay.
I know you
Let
wanted to keep
me
it out of presentation mode so you could switch applications, but maybe that would help.
try to do that right now. How do I change the screens in between my secondary screen and my?
Yeah,
Sorry, if there's somebody that's
sorry for the
expert in,
interruption, everybody.
no problem. If there's an expert in PowerPoint presentation,
Yeah,
I've done it.
there.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, great. And
All
we might
right.
just need a second of patience when Vlad's ready to switch to another application too. That's what he was trying to accomplish by that. But now everybody can see, so we're good. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Okay, where were we? Channels. We talked about email. There are some other channels which are not very used, like a widget, which you can embed in your page, and you can just go to that widget and click, create a ticket. There's also a chat integration with tools like Slack or Microsoft Teams to allow real-time conversation, and that chat is being integrated and synchronized with a Jira ticket, with our Jira Service Management ticket. Last but not least, and that is the most important, we have the customer portal. That is the website that I've showed you, and that is the customer-facing part of every service project. It's easily configurable, and we're going to look at it today and try to create one portal to help Santa, I don't know, do something, maybe submit gift ideas. What's important here to mention in the portal, you have the possibility of connecting your portal with your knowledge base, with information, and with Atlassian AI. When users create a request, you can just automatically propose some of the links that you've created for them, some of the Confluence pages with information about their request. In some cases, if you manage this properly, well, the ticket wouldn't be needed because people would know how to do some things and what is this the situation of a product and why this doesn't work and this and that, and they could just look, read, see the information that they'd like and not create a ticket. Request types and forms, and there might be a few terms that you're not familiar with. Don't worry about it. I'm going to show you after I go through them. So you can get an idea of what is a channel, what is a portal, request type, and a form. Request types. They're the categories of requests that users select. So if you work with Jira Service Management and you have multiple teams that work on service requests, multiple types of requests, you would need to structure this, because putting a list of 50 types of requests on the same page and have the user select what they want, it's not maybe the most user-friendly way. So you split everything by portals in the beginning, and then each portal is split in request types. And each request type is an individual page where users request you to do something to help them on a specific need. For example, in Santa's case, he would have portal with, I don't know, Santa's workshop or Santa's service desk, and multiple request types like submitting gift wishes or reindeer onboarding or I don't know, workshop maintenance. And these are categories of requests that his employees or different people all around the world can request. I mean, previously this was done by email, submitting gift wishes, or by mail. But nowadays we can use a tool like Jira Service Management. Request types are tied to a Jira issue type, a task, a bug, or a service request. So request types are very important to the customer. However, the agent or the Jira person that addresses that request sees something slightly different. They see basically what they see on every Jira project that they're used to. So the interface doesn't change from the administrator or from the person that knows Jira, uses Jira, and addresses tickets. It's a very seamless transition from I just use Jira and now I'm going to use a Jira Service Management project. The interface is mostly the same. Forms. Forms are the set of fields that you put on a page. In Santa's case, gift wishes for we have a form, and what fields do we need on that form? We need an email, we need a category. Let's have a category like a select list where people can say, yes, I want a toy or a book or anything else. We can have a description, and we can add also a link just in case you want something very specific and we don't want Santa to choose what kind of a game or a book he'll send us. SLAs, and that's the last thing. That's the last thing on this list. Service level agreements. This is basic out-of-the-box Jira service management functionality that helps you define and manage the response and resolution times for requests. With SLAs, without you having to configure anything, and by getting SLAs, you ensure that teams meet the timelines that they've agreed in responding to and resolving customer issues. And sometimes companies create objectives around SLAs, or maybe they create objectives around customer satisfaction. There's a CSAT, customer satisfaction score, if I'm not wrong. And that is maybe in some cases tied to company objectives, and that can be observed and measured with Jira Service Management seamless and out of the box. Example of an SLA, for a specific request, you have 4 hours to the first response, where you just acknowledge that you received the ticket and you started to look on it, and you have a week to resolution. That's part of the SLA. 4 hours to the first response and 1 week to the resolution. It's just one example. You can stop and pause SLAs. If you're waiting for a customer, you don't want to count this time because you don't have control over when the customer will respond. And that is, as I will show you, out-of-the-box functionality, which is very easy to set up. What do you do when an SLA gets breached? When you haven't replied in 4 hours, or you haven't addressed the ticket request in 1 week? You have automations that inform you that you're about to breach the SLA. Sometimes this is unavoidable, but at least you get a notification so that you can address and finish not breach the SLA. Let's see all of this in action. Let's see if we can create in Jira what we've seen today. Let's see how easy it is. Let's see how configurable it is. This is the basic Jira for you if you have used Jira in the past. This is the basic Jira homepage. I'm an administrator in this instance, and I have JSM configured before so that we don't have to spend time in configuring it. I'm gonna try to zoom in a bit just in case you don't see it. I'm going to go to projects and create a new project. These are all of the templates that Jira provides for us. You have templates for finance, you have templates for legal, operations, software development, and so on. I'm going to go to service management. I could start from scratch, but I'm very lazy and rely on a lazy person to find the fastest way to deliver work. I'm going to start with an already created template. I'm going to start with a general one. This will be our basis, and we're going to update it with what we need. We're going to configure it. Request types. By default, 3 request types are created: ask a question, emailed request, or submit a request or incident. This is very generic. We're gonna change them completely. And the workflow, if you're familiar with Jira workflow, these are the steps a ticket goes from. We have, in this case, a very simple workflow. Ticket starts from a to-do, it's in pending, it's in progress, and then it is done. For the sake of presentation and saving time, we're gonna use this workflow. Okay, let's try to choose a name of a project. Let's say Santa Claus service project, and I'm gonna choose the key. Now, this is the key is an identifier of a project, and all of the issues, all of the tickets that get created in this project will have this key as an identifier. So the first ticket that I'll be creating in this project will have the key SC-1, and then SC-2, and so on and so forth. So choose something that is very, very simple to remember, simply to use. The team type, this is not very important right now. Let's go for just customer services, and let's see who can control requests to your team. Jira is very configurable, and JSM is very configurable as well. We're gonna go with the basics. We're gonna go with the simple configuration. In this case, we want everybody to be able to submit requests to this project. We can add restrictions based on Azure AD groups, based on roles, based on anything that you can think of. If the information exists somewhere in Azure AD or in Jira, we can use it however we see fit. That's it. I'm going to create the project, and I'm going to let Jira do everything for me. Okay. These are some request types already created for me. I'm going to keep them because I want to show you. I'm going to show you how they're created, how they look like, and how easy it is to change them. This is the basic page that an admin, the project admin, or a project member, in this case, an agent sees. We have all of the keywords that I've showed when we talked about. We have requests, we have queues, we have portal, and I'm going to show you forms and fields in the future. We have the email that was created for us, in this case, SC, which is the project key and this is my Jira site, envorso-demo.atlassian.net. Everybody that sends an email to this email address will trigger the creation of a ticket. Let's see how this looks like on my day-to-day basis as an admin and as a person that creates the ticket as a customer. You have the Kanban board, the views, to do, in progress, done. It's very simple. Once we create an issue, or once customers create an issue, it will show up here, and the ticket can be transitioned from one status to another, depending on the workflow. I just went with the simplest workflow, the one that's out of the box, but you can configure it to have as many statuses as you think fits your use case. There's no limit to this. Also, the number of transitions, in case you want to have tickets to go from to do only to in progress and not to done until it goes to in progress. That is a configuration that we can easily do. How does this look to the user? The out-of-the-box portal that we've created. Let's go to channels, and these are all of the channels that I've created. Some of them are turned off, some of them are turned on. Today we're going to look at the portal, which is the most used one. These are two request types that were created by me, created by Jira with by the default configuration that I've selected. Submit a request or incident, and you have a few fields. Let's edit this request and make it more Santa Claus themed. I'm going to go back to my project, and I'm going to go to project settings. I'm going to go to request types and forms. These are the two topics that I've told you about. We're going to look at ask a question, and we're going to edit. I'm going to click on it and start editing it. We don't need to ask a question. We just need to submit gift ideas. And as a description, let's have, what would you like to Christmas? Now let's look at the fields. What fields can I put on the page? I would like to create and attach a form, which is just a cluster of fields, a group of fields. I'm going to go to forms, create one form, a blank one. Let's not use automations and templates every time. Gift form, and let's start adding fields to the page. Let's add an email. We want the customers to be able to add an email. And let's actually make this mandatory. There are other configurations that we can do, but they just stick to the minimum. Let's add a drop down. What is the category of gift? And we can choose, maybe somebody wants the category of books, toys, and other. That's a nice functionality. Just clicking a button, I've added this item here. Is it required? Let's make it required. What else should we be adding? In some cases, people would like to have an URL. They have an URL and they wanna get it, they wanna collect it. Just put it here, but not make it mandatory, as not every gift has a link. Not every gift can be bought from Amazon. Let's add also a description. Make it mandatory and describe the field. Tell me about what you want to receive. I don't need any coding. I don't need any specific experience to do this. Just go on fields, and there's a large number of fields that we can add on the page. You can add users, you can add custom fields, you can add cascading drop downs, which is a drop down which then, based on the item that you select, will show a secondary drop down, which is based on the first. Checkboxes, radio buttons, and all of the basic user interface widgets that you've seen other websites have. Let's stop here and attach our form to the request type and see how it looks to the user. Submit gift ideas. Already some issues, some custom fields were added to the page. I would like to remove them and just use my own. I would like for this first summary field to be to disappear, and It's not very user-friendly. Gift request. And by me saying this field will disappear from the view, from the client's view, and it will always have the value of gift requests created and populated. Let's attach the form. I will select one form that I've created. For some reason, it doesn't show up here. Gift form. Okay, it did show up. Add and save. Let's see how it looks like. Let's see how the changes that I've made impacted the portal, the user interface. I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna refresh my page, and I will see my submit gift ideas option created and the description. What would you like to receive for Christmas? Here we have all of the items, all of the fields that I have created, with two differences. One, request, this field was added, raise this request on behalf of somebody. In some cases in Jira, you can request something on behalf of somebody. If somebody doesn't have access to Jira, we can just ask a colleague, can you please request something on my behalf? And that issue gets created. And you also need to know when this happens, you need to know who requested and on behalf of whom. And these are two Jira fields applied to any issue that you create. In this case, you'll see all of the Jira users that are assigned to this Jira instance. It's useful. It's not. It's useful in some cases. Let's put it like this. Not every time you create a ticket on behalf of somebody else. Description. This was a field that I've already added below, and it's also created here.
Yeah, Shasya. Yeah, tell me.
Santosh, yeah. Santosh, I just called you to confirm with you, like as I mentioned.
Let's continue. I think everybody was muted, so if you have any question or any concern, just please type in the chat and I will see it and get back to you. This field, I was saying that was created by default. Let's try to see if we can remove it. These are the two fields at the top of the screen that were created by me. Use the preset value and hide for the portal. What is the description? Maybe don't add anything here. Saving changes and refreshing the page should eliminate that field. Okay, troubleshooting. Troubleshooting December 2024. Email address. I think I've selected the template of this field to be an email, so I cannot introduce whatever I want. It must be an email address, so whatever, vlad@invorso.com. I'll actually put my email address. Also select the category and select books. I don't have a URL, and I'm gonna say that a description. Can I please have the Lord of the Rings trilogy? And that is the first book that came to my mind. I've raised this ticket. I've created this ticket. Me as the client, as the person that raises requests, wants something, will be able to look at this page and see all of the initial items that were added, all of the fields, description, link, category, and email. And they don't care about workflows. They don't care about all of the other Jira information. They don't care about SLAs. Well, in some cases they do. They would just like to see a simple interface. And I think this is exactly what happens. We have status here, very simple to do, but that's more as an information. you have the opportunity to share this ticket with somebody else in case you want to involve others and grant others access to the request that you've created. And you have the possibility of creating comments and communicating with the team or the person that addresses your tickets. Interface is quite minimalist. And for me, when something is getting close to perfection, there's nothing else to remove. I know for some, perfection is when there's nothing else to add. From the user experience, or to optimize user experience, I would say that it's better to think of it like there's nothing else to remove. There's no clutter on the screen, which makes people confused, which makes people think that is this way too complicated and they will give it. Let's go back to the admin and see, okay, from the agent perspective, how does this look like? Person that will reply to gift requests. So how do I see them? As you can see, this is the Kanban board that was created. I will click on it and I will see exactly what I've added as fields. We have the form with all of the information, and we have the ability to communicate with the clients, with the customers, with just a reply to the customer, or I can add an internal note, which is an internal comment that everybody with an agent count can see, but the clients cannot see. You have the SLA, which was configured by default. The SLAs is time to first respond is within 8 hours, 8H, which is 8 hours, and time to resolution, 10 days, that is 80 hours. This was created by default because I didn't think we would have enough time to set all of this up. Just gonna show you how easy it is. We're gonna go to project settings, gonna go to SLAs, and we have all of this. The SLAs are very configurable. You can set multiple SLAs based on priority, which is just a field, based on the request type, based on anything that you'd like. You can map that with a calendar. This is by the default, the calendar that was selected, the 9 to 5 calendar. But in some cases, you might have teams which operate from different time zones, and you have a different schedule. You have different holidays, and that is configurable so that the SLAs take in consideration this. I want to show you one more thing. I want to show you the power of automation, because in some cases we don't need to do manual work. We can just leverage all of the automations that are available. And I'm going to create very simple automation. What would be useful in this case? I'm thinking of a functionality. What if the clients do not answer in 5 days? I would imagine that they don't care anymore. So I would like to close the tickets. The clients will still have the ability to reopen the tickets, but I want them to be closed because in some cases, some people create a request, they create a gift request idea, and well, they just don't care anymore. And not everybody closes ticket and writes a comment saying that I don't need this anymore. So let's build an automation that will do that for me. I can either create the rule myself. I can create one that was already created by default for us or as a template. But instead, I will just use AI and hope that it works. As I said, Atlassian uses more and more AI in all of its products. So I'm going to say close tickets if client did not answer in 5 days. Let's see what this does. Something was created, but if it's AI, I'm not entirely sure it's correct. So I'm gonna verify exactly what the AI did for me. We created an automation with the name of close ticket if client did not answer in 5 days. So it's easy for me to identify what this automation does. Also with the description, a very ChatGPT-ish description. Let's see what it does, because that's what we care about. When an automation in Jira has a few parts, we have a trigger, we have a condition, and we have an action. The trigger is when should this automation run? Every day at 9 a.m. Okay. The JQL here says this is just an identifier. It's a language that allows us to manipulate to query Jira tickets. It says for all of the tickets that are in status waiting for client, okay, and hasn't been updated in more than 5 days, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to take all of these tickets, all of these issues, and I want to close them. So I'm going here and I'm looking at the action that needs to be done. And it's saying destination status done. That's it. I like what the idea did for me this time. I use AI as much as I can, but I never trust it. I always look and check what it does, because in some cases it's not doing exactly what I want it to do. Return to rules. Well, one option is to wait for 5 days to see if this automation did something and worked, but I don't have this time, so we just have to believe him. I'm looking at the time, and I don't think we have enough to continue with creating 2 more forms, but I hope you understood the basics of how to create a request type in Jira Service Management, and how to test how portal looks for customers, and how you can view as an agent, how you can view the list of tickets that were created and work with it, address it. In this case, I would just say, okay, I will work on this ticket, so I will assign it to me. I will move it in progress. I will do whatever needs to be done. And at the end, I will close it. Reply to the customer and say, I've registered your request. Expect a gift coming your way. That is a reply to customer. So as a customer, when I'm looking at my ticket that I've created, I will see that the ticket is in progress. I will see the comment that I received from the agent. And once I close the ticket, this will get addressed, and this will get reflected into the, I don't care about this. This will get reflected into the the customer's perspective. I need to put a resolution. Resolution in Jira is why something was closed. Some cases you've closed the ticket because, well, it's a duplicate of something else. You won't do it, but in most cases you've closed it because it's done. I'm gonna hit update, and right now I believe if I check my email, I received an email saying that this ticket was closed, and I can view, refreshing my page, I can view that status is done. This is the interface with me having a Jira account. However, I can do the same without having a Jira account, and I can view all of this information without me having a Jira account. This would all get tied in with my email address, which will become mandatory. You have some time for questions and answers, and if no questions and answers, I'm gonna leave you with a few best practices. I'm gonna monitor the chat, so please type if there's anything that you'd like to be talking in the next few minutes. Otherwise, you're gonna hear me talk about best practices and what I've seen work and what I have seen not work. Be very customer focused. Be very clear when you set up your request types. Use simple and intuitive names. report an issue or request access or be simple. Group items together, group similar items, requests together to make navigation easier for customers, like folders in a portal. You have request types, put them in different groups, different folders, so that the customer can easily find what they're looking for. It's much better to see a list of 50 items that I can request, or just have a list of 2 folders, which then have 2 subfolders, which then can have all of these 5 items grouped 1 per folder. I would say that if it would be easier to not use groupings, you would just keep all of your files in your operating system and your Windows or in your Mac in the same level, and you have a list of 1,000 items. Good luck finding what you're looking for. Automation. Automate repetitive tasks, whatever that is. Jira is very mature, I would say, in terms of automation. In some cases, you can have fully automated requests where just by enabling some approvals, because that's something that we could use, all of this can be done. All of the tickets could be resolved fully by automation without any manual intervention. SLAs, create SLAs. It's always nice to go and look if you've breached or met your SLAs. That gives you an idea of what you can improve, how you can improve, and where. I think the most important best practice here is always to improve your process, always to improve your Jira setup, any setup, not just Jira, because it's difficult to develop perfection, and sometimes it's more important to make progress over creating something perfect from the beginning. That is, again, the difference between waterfall and agile projects, and my personal opinion, in most cases, agile is a more appealing and a more interesting approach. Knowledge base, tie in your Jira project, your JSM project with Confluence. Also track metrics and feedback, and build reports that show your work and show what people want and how you're addressing it. Easy to understand reports are underrated, and I think this is something that every Jira configuration should have. That is it for today. Again, thank you very much for joining. I see no questions, so people were either confused or or maybe there was this presentation was so simple that there were no questions. If you think of something that you'd like to elaborate, that you'd like to deep dive, feel free to reach out, and I'll be happy to help. Meanwhile, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, or whatever else you celebrate, and maybe we'll be seeing each other next year. Morgan.
That was great, and I want to ask you if you'd like to put up your contact information again. I'm
Absolutely.
not sure if you have a slide. Yeah, I know that you also are available for what is it, a 60-minute Jira consult or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to make sure our community here gets to take advantage of that really generous offer. Vlad and his team are Jira experts. If you have any questions or want to know how to make it work for you, these are the people to talk to, and we appreciate you a lot. So we'll let you put your information up, and while you're looking for that, I'm going to share the PDF claim code for today. Get my slide up here and share the code. MPUG 121824 to get your credit for today. The replay will be available on the site within the next 24 hours, so you can revisit Vlad is also going to share his slides, so I'll put those on the replay website so you can take a look at those, and that'll have hopefully your contact information in there too. Let me know when you're ready to share that on screen and I'll let you take it over. Or drop it in the chat, whatever's easier. Everyone's got the code. We have run out of time today too, so I'm not going to do a tour of the forum, but just know as members of MPUG, you already have access to the community discussion forum. So you can find it under, you go to MPUG, log in, make sure you're logged in, and then go to resources and discussion forum, and you can interact over there with the whole community. And also many of our presenters are in there as well. Great place to ask questions and get feedback. All right, I'm going to stop my share. And I think, is there anything else you wanted to add before we get out?
Happy holidays, everybody.
All right. Yes, happy holidays. Thank you. We will see you in the new year. We're done with weekly presentations until January 8th. So enjoy your holiday season, everyone. We will see you in 2025. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.